At the end of last year, I made the decision not to re-sign to Stranger as a professional rider. And believe it or not, it has absolutely nothing to do with cars. Before I go explain this whole mess of situation, I kind of want to go back in time and talk about when I signed to Stranger, kind of what the expectations were. And first, I just want to start off with kind of the definition of a professional BMX rider, because I know it causes a lot of confusion. I feel like being a professional has a lot of different meanings in different industries, in different sports. In BMX, the way that I've always looked at it, and I feel like a lot of other people look at it this way, is that you have an amateur or whatever you want to call a person that just rides to ride. You have a flow rider, which is a person who is sponsored by a company and probably receives free product and maybe travel of sorts. And then you have a professional rider, which receives maybe travel of sorts, but the main identifying factor is they have a paycheck. They are getting paid to ride their bike, and that is kind of what was used to define professional. Now, you could argue and say that I was a professional before I signed to Stranger because I was making money in a roundabout way from riding my bicycle, whether it was through my own brand or through YouTube. Or you might want to argue and say that I was never actually a professional, because to some people the definition of being a professional is competing in contests like X Games or making video parts. And I believe every definition is correct. This video has absolutely nothing to do with me debating whether I was a pro or not. It just has to do with why I left the team. At one point or another, I think any person that does a sport out there dreams of one day becoming a professional, dreams of having that recognition of getting sponsored, and I don't think I was any different. My situation was rather interesting because I wasn't the best BMX rider out there. I wasn't doing all these competitions and video parts. However, I amassed a following just from our webisodes and from literally having fun on a bicycle, not taking it seriously, which is the opposite of how I feel it normally goes. So I had this monetizable base that could be used to sell products, and to a company that's of value, and to me, a BMX rider that's always dreamed of being sponsored, you know, that was enticing to me to have the recognition of being on a team and being a part of something. And on top of that, I almost felt like it was the next logical step. People had seen me grow as a rider from not being able to do 180s to being able to do 360 tail whips and other more difficult tricks. So for them to get to see me to progress onto that next stage was very, I guess, motivating for them. So that was another reason why I was really excited about joining the team. And I think it really worked out great because Rich Hirsch, who manages Stranger, totally supported me, and that I wanted to continue doing what I was doing. I just wanted to continue making webisodes. I wanted to continue just having fun on my bike. Since that's what got me where I was, why would I switch from that to more of a typical professional route, you know? So there was the value there for them. Like, it was very clear that I could sell products. But I think part of the issue was typically in BMX you have to work your way through the ranks of a flow rider and then transition into a pro rider. So there was a lot of animosity when I joined the team and went straight to a pro position. The reason I was put on the pro team instead of the flow team is because of the following I had amassed had a significant advertising value. It was clear that they would make their money back on the product that would be sold, and then that opened us up for the ability to do signature parts, which is something that flow riders also don't usually have. And interestingly enough, when I signed to Stranger, it was very clear and both parties understood that I had intentions of starting my own BMX company after riding for Stranger for maybe a year or two. I was a full-time student at the time, and I really wanted to have my own BMX company. I felt like that was the route that I should go, but I just knew that I was spread so thin already, barely able to make YouTube videos, barely able to ride, that I didn't want to throw another thing into the mix. And I really wanted to represent a brand, and everything just worked together, and I was able to represent Stranger, and it was understood, and I was even going to get help when it came time to starting my own company. So it was an understood plan, and it's just the route that we decided to go. Looking back in retrospect, I probably should have held out and just started my own company and not dealt with all of this. I could spend half of this video just talking about the negative backlash that ensued after I signed to Stranger, but I really don't want that to be the focus of this video. But in case you aren't aware, pretty much half the team quit because they didn't like me and what I was doing with webisodes. I'd say about 75% of the professional BMX riders I looked up to talked trash about me on the internet, and it was just non-stop internet chaos. Again, another sort of interesting fact that I feel like was never talked about. We knew that it was going to create a lot of controversy adding me to the Stranger team. We didn't know what was going to happen, but it was a carefully chosen plan because it was just something that was a very odd fit that would get people talking. Now, ideally, the image of the brand was supposed to morph, and I thought that the other riders knew what was going on, but I guess they were more upset because they didn't know that I was being added to the team, and they felt like there was a lack of communication. I still don't fully understand what was going on. I don't know if anyone really understands what happened, but it was a mess. It's over with, and I don't think I really hear much about it anymore, but let's get on to why I'm no longer riding for them. I feel as though in any partnership, there's always things that you're going to be unhappy with. As time progressed, there are quite a few things that presented themselves that I wasn't really happy with. But I don't want this video to seem like the focus is bashing the company. This is simply just trying to explain to you why I left, and some of those things that I was unhappy with aren't really necessary to tell you guys. So with that in mind, I'm going to keep this a very watered down version and try to keep it very simple. I'd say there's two main reasons why I left. And the first would probably be something along the lines of I felt as though there wasn't enough attention, maybe not enough energy put forth towards my signature product. And it's not even something that I'm mad about. It's not something that I can't understand. Rich Hirsch, who manages Stranger, has so many things on his plate. He's taken on so many roles. I'm pretty sure he moved to Taiwan. So I felt as though whenever we were making things, like even the first generation of my signature frame, everything was rushed. I really didn't get to put that much time into my own product, and I was kind of let down because I felt like I had more of a generic frame that was branded rather than something really cool and unique like I wanted. There were very limited options, and even, which we'll get into, the second generation of the frame, I had such late notice that we weren't really able to create something special. And you guys know I'm really passionate about the things that I put my name on. I want to make sure there's something I'm truly stoked on, and I felt as though that I wasn't as stoked as I possibly could have been on a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of other things that I wanted to produce, and Rich was just spread so thin, I was spread so thin that it's just, we didn't mesh well because neither of us could really communicate with each other. Again, I'm not trying to pinpoint Rich because I'm spread equally as thin, but the amount of energy that I had to put forth on the frames felt like the amount of energy I would have put forth if I just had my own company. I didn't think that I would have to be designing it down to the details that I did, even creating logos and graphics. I thought that that was something that the company would handle, and it created more stress than I would have liked. Amongst the various things that happened and headaches that ensued, I would say the straw that broke the camel's back was just plain not getting paid. And as I explained previously, the paycheck was not even remotely a reason why I signed to Stranger. In fact, it was so minimal, it shouldn't even matter, and it shouldn't be reason enough for me to leave the team. However, the way that my pay was set up, half of it was regular and the other half I had to invoice them for whatever reason. So I think back in March of 2016, I missed an invoice or maybe 2 invoices for the months previously, and since then I just stopped receiving that second half of the paycheck. And again, it's not a significant amount. Well, I mean, it is. It's accumulated to a very significant amount, but I truly don't care. And me making this video basically means that I probably won't get paid that amount ever. And I've decided that I would just rather open up about the situation and explain, because it just looks really weird that I have a new frame color that's released and I haven't posted anything about it, and why am I not representing them that hard? So since March of last year, you know, maybe I thought there was some sort of hiccup in the situation, but as it progressed and I realized that I'm just not getting paid, I'm inevitably not going to strive as hard to, you know, really push Stranger when I feel as though I'm being owed all this money. And apparently it doesn't have anything to do with Stranger, it has to do with the company that oversees them. But, you know, we, and by we I mean BMX, bought a lot of my own signature product, bought a lot of the other brands that this company houses, and I thought it was really messed up that we had to continue buying all this stuff from a company that owed us money. So I got frustrated after, you know, asking nicely over and over again, probably like every month, that I just decided it wasn't right anymore, and I do not want to continue buying product from a company that owes me money, and I don't want to continue riding for a company that owes me money when it seems like there's no end in sight. Another reason why I didn't talk about me leaving Stranger back when I chose not to re-sign is that I wanted this to go over very smoothly, and I knew I had new product coming out. and the last thing I wanted to do was have strangers stuck with my V2 frame on their hands. So I basically asked them, like, all I want is to be paid what I'm owed, and in exchange I will continue promoting the product even though I'm technically not riding for them anymore, and then I will just announce that I'm leaving after all of the V2 frames have sold. I didn't want Stranger to be left with this product. I didn't want any bike shops to be stuck with this product because of this whole situation. The last thing I wanted is any sort of negative impact, and I wanted to make a nice welcome to / farewell edit that was almost like a satirical joke because people gave me crap for not ever making a welcome edit. And unfortunately, that's not the way that it went down. I really wanted it to, but I guess it just is what it is. Really annoying part about this is knowing that a lot of my other friends and other professional riders that are under the same house were not getting paid as well. And unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, I don't know, it depends on how you look at this. I was hoping, and the plan was that everyone was gonna come out about the situation and kind of explain what was going on, but I guess there's so little money in BMX that none of these other riders wanted to risk losing their position to shed light on the situation and the money that they were owed as well. So in essence, they're almost being blackmailed by having this money hanging over their head. They can't really talk bad about a company, but they're not really representing this company as hard as they should because of the fact that they feel like they're being taken advantage of. And that's kind of the position that I was in, except the thing is, I really don't care about the money. I would much rather be out of this situation. It's very awkward to go to a skate park and have kids telling me that I owe Stranger for this and I owe Stranger for that and I should be doing this and that, when they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They don't know how I feel about it. And honestly, it's left a really bad taste in my mouth about the BMX industry. I really don't have a desire to start a company of my own anymore. I'm gonna continue riding, and in fact, I think after I put this video out and people really understand where I'm coming from, I'll be more amped to go to the skate park. Because before, you know, I was riding my own ramp. I would just kind of ride with my friends in my small friend group because I didn't want to have to deal with all this drama. You know, before I rode BMX for fun, I never understood all this drama crap that went on in the industry, and it's left me really jaded, and I don't want to jade everyone else that may watch this video that views the industry as this magical beast, because that sounds really weird, but that's kind of how I viewed it. It was all magical and special. But I guess this video just had to be made. It sucks, but it is what it is. I don't know. We did cool stuff together. You know, thank you to Stranger for kind of like taking a chance with me, and it's unfortunate how things played out. I don't know who's at fault. I don't know what's going on ever. That's kind of the problem. I really didn't know what's going on, and I still don't really know. But thank you guys. It sucks. I thought this was gonna be something really awesome, and I feel like I let some of you guys down that might have thought this partnership, this professional atom might lead to better things, and unfortunately it was just a big mess of a situation. This video is not me quitting BMX. Don't think that. You're wrong if you think that. I spent so much of my life on BMX, why would I just give it up? That'd be incredibly stupid. Certainly I don't ride as much as I used to. That could be a whole nother video on its own. I feel like I don't have to keep justifying myself on that, especially now that I don't ride for a professional company anymore. I'm gonna continue doing what I find is fun, whether it be riding BMX, drifting cars, hanging out with Nicole, hanging out with Nicole's family. That's what we did yesterday, and why I don't have a vlog today, and instead I'm presenting you with this news. Today's 4th of July. Let's go celebrate our independence, and at the same time I will celebrate my independence as a BMX rider now. I have no plans to ride for another company pretty much ever. I just done with it. I don't want to deal with any of that drama. It just clouds the vision. That's what it does. It clouds the vision. No, that sounds really stupid. I don't know. Yeah, thank you guys. Hope you understand. You can ask questions or whatever in the comment section. I thought about doing some sort of live video if I need to answer a lot of questions about the situation, but I feel like I covered most of it. So thank you, and bye. When you said